So this is the precursor to the video. It was a bit of a thick one, yeah. So quite heavy, quite dense, and there's a visual as well. So I think I'll do the precursor, do the video part, and then you can listen to the lecture after that. The lecture is really good. It's a bit heavy in parts, but it's a big topic and it had to be done, so bear with. Now, the point I'm trying to make is we're talking about the scalar to the vector, yeah? Infinite formlessness, yeah? The oneness of all things being fractalized into form, yeah? Straight out of the gate, I told you this stuff, but we're bringing it home now. Now, I want you to think about this, yeah? There are no two things in this place that are ever the same, yeah? There are no two identical things. And the fact that there are no two identical things reflects the greater truth that the one, yeah, i.e. the unique one, the formless, is always present, yeah, in everything, because there are no identical things, yeah? Don't argue. Okay. Now, let's say we put all trees, yeah, into like a big orb, yeah, of treeness. Everything related to trees. If it's a tree, it's in that thing. There's nothing tree-like that will be outside of this orb. Okay. Now, let's say within that unity, we slice it down into, sort of like different types of trees, yeah, families, orders, families, genus, species, all the rest of it, yeah, varieties, yeah, and then down to individual organisms, individual trees, right? And at every step, the pattern will branch off again, like a natural fractal. Because say we have tree X, yeah, this directionality is what this talk is about, the Demiurge, yeah? So it allows the expression of tree X, like a big fucking oak tree or whatever it is, yeah? And then everything in between, yeah? To the tiniest, to the biggest thing, whatever. Now, we take the oak and we go one step further. Every oak is different from the next one, yeah? So the pattern branches off again. Every single one is different. Yeah. And even two seeds from the same parent tree growing side by side will differ. The genetics will shuffle slightly. The soil chemistry vary centimeter to centimeter. Wind and sun strike at different angles. The growth rings form different patterns. And this is not only true for trees. It's true all across nature. It's true all across nature. Pick anything you want in nature. This fractal is irreducible. It's a fact. I stand on this, bro. There are no two things identical ever in nature, period. Don't, yeah. Okay. So, you will start to see the play of unity and multiplicity, yeah? So it's one life expressing itself in endlessly unique forms. So at every juncture, there is that one unique thing experiencing itself in amongst other unique things, which it's its own self. So that means that there can never be two identical forms, no, two identical masks on the stage. Okay, let's keep it very simple. There can't be two identical masks on the stage. No, it's not possible. There can't be two identical masks on the stage, bro. It's impossible. And that in itself confirms the ultimate truth. Bro, we've never missed a 3-pointer. We've never missed a home run out here, bro. Don't watch the number. Bro, it's facts. I'm telling you. It's time we empty the clip, bro. So yeah, enjoy. Yo. Whilst we're on the topic of energy harvesting and loosh, I think it's a very natural progression to talk about the Demiurge and the archons. I think I spoke about the archons previously, and it's rubbish. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing really to worry about, to be honest. Now, I always use water as an analogy for consciousness because it is. I mean, even on the 3D surface level, we are basically made of water, yeah? Where we live is basically mostly water, and water holds life, and water expresses in different ways, just like we do. Now, if you picture consciousness as water, yeah, then think of the Demiurge, yeah? It's just an aspect of you, really, but let me explain it clearly so then I don't have to deal with these questions. Think of the Demiurge as the set of forces, yeah, that give water a definite form of expression, a type of directionality. So think of it this way. You have a blob of water hanging somewhere, yeah? There is an intelligence within that water. So when that water drops onto a surface, yeah, onto a mirror surface, onto a medium of, or drops into the world of physicality, yeah, the scalar becomes the vector, yeah, from a scientific standpoint, i.e. the very thing is trying to experience itself. There is a force within that thing that directs, yeah, or kind of pushes and pulls, you know, stagnates or whatever, the liquid itself, so then the liquid can become something, yeah? So in the case of water, it's the thing that will cause that blob of water to, you know, hold still and become a lake or a pond, or move, yeah, at different paces to become a slow moving river or fast moving river, or to congregate in a massive way, like the ocean, or freeze itself to become a snowflake or whatever it is. It's the thing within the thing itself, yeah, that pushes and pulls and gives that thing a way to experience itself, yeah? So it's the thing that within the scalar that kind of shapes the vector, yeah? Okay, this is scientifically accurate, by the way. Now, in the case of, say, a river, yeah, the Demiurge can be seen as the channel, yeah, that guides the water, so it doesn't just kind of like spread out into a formless mash. So it's the thing that prevents formlessness from repeating itself on the medium, or formlessness becoming formless again in the world of physicality, yeah? So if you think about it, yeah, you as pure consciousness or awareness, you and the air around you and the ground beneath your feet and all the things you see around you are one thing. The Demiurge is what allows you to feel like that you're separate, because it's the thing that kind of, if you like, gives your vector, yeah, the shape, pushes and pulls, so it tears you from yourself, so you feel like you're a separate entity even though you're still within yourself, yeah? I know it's a heavy one, but bear with me, we'll get there, yeah? So even if in the case of the emergent point, I might actually do a visual on this actually. I've got pen and paper. In the case of the emergent point, the Demiurge is when the ink drops onto the medium. The ink, the Demiurge is kind of like that directional guide, yeah? That energy within whatever's directing that emergent point to become something. So it's the thing that's steering it to become a symphony, yeah? Or a work of art, or a piece of music, or a poem, or a map, whatever it is that thing that's directing that thing, yeah? It's within the energy itself, yeah? But it appears separate. We're gonna get there, you see. Now, in the case of water, yeah? So like I said, it's the channel that makes kind of like, that guides, yeah, the water, so it doesn't just spread out into formlessness. So the Demiurge is like what it does is it takes the open potential of awareness or consciousness or God and gives it a shape, yeah? Gives it space, gives it time, gives it physical laws so that an actual world can be experienced, yeah? So it's the very aspect of the thing that allows it to tear itself from itself, yeah? So in the case of water, when it lands, that directionality that causes the water to course and become a rapid or, you know, a lake or a pond or whatever it is, yeah, is a demiurge, yeah? So now in that river, yeah, the current patterns, yeah, the eddies, the swells, the rapids, the calm pools, the tributaries, the estuaries and stuff like that, that appear inside the flow, these are like your archons, yeah? Or secondary forces that maintain order locally, yeah? Or on a micro level. This also applies to you, we'll get there, you know? So if you think about it, it's things that in the human world, we will talk about habits, cultural rules, individual egos, yeah? And when you think about, in the case of the river, yeah? What the river picks up and lays down over time, yeah? That's the content of experience, yeah? So the sediment, the stones, all the rest of it, yeah? Even the rubbish. That's the content of experience. Now, so events, histories, personalities, yeah, the apparent solidity of matter, yeah, that's basically what that liquid is experiencing, yeah? Okay, so the water itself, yeah, the moving, living awareness remains the same, yeah? Because the river is still water, the lake is still water, the ocean is still water, snow is still water, ice is still water, the iceberg is still water, so on and so forth, yeah? The demiurge isn't separate from the river, or the lake, or the pond, or the ocean, or whatever it is, yeah? It's the natural structuring, yeah, of the riverbed that makes the flow perceivable as a world, yeah? It's what allows that scalar, macro, formless water to become a world so it can experience itself within itself, within a world, yeah? Let me try and break it down this way. You have water, yeah? Imagine water as a blob just hanging in the vacuum of nothingness, yeah? Okay, now the water wants to experience itself. So the water needs a medium, yeah, a template, a form to do that, because otherwise it still remains formless. Now, once it interacts with the template, yeah, we've already spoken about that, is back there, I don't want to go off track. Once it interacts with that surface, yeah, just like the emergent point, the water has choices, yeah? Water has an intelligence, just like consciousness and awareness has an intelligence. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, yeah? That's why water will always seek its level. That's why we use water to actually gauge levels, yeah? Cool. Or even, you can, it's the same, yeah? With everything, I will explain. Now, when that water lands on that surface, yeah, there's a directionality. There's something within the water itself that might choose, this time around, I just want to just sit still and be a lake or a pond. That thing that's making that choice within that formlessness is what the demiurge is. The secondary layer of the demiurge, the secondary layer of the intelligence is what humans call the archons, is the thing that regulates on a local level what a lake is. Yeah, so a lake doesn't flow, or it does this, or the depth, or whatever, anything secondary, yeah, the currents or whatever. These are the archons. So it's the directionality, that original primordial intelligence, yeah, in a secondary form is what the archon is, or the archons are. Okay, so it's basically once that intelligence allows for the structuring, yeah, of experience, then that water now becomes something else. Even though it's still water, it experiences itself as something else. And as it's experiencing itself as something else, yeah, it makes itself perceivable within a microcosm, yeah, because a river has a unique world of experience. A lake has a unique world of experience. An iceberg, a unique world of experience. The ocean, a unique world of experience, okay? But ultimately, at the fundamental baseline, it's still water. Cool. Think of another substance, yeah? Any substance, yeah? It's the same thing. The same rules apply. Okay, because even a human, yeah, I'll get to the human in a minute. You see, now let me make this point first. Now, when you identify only with the water, you can watch the shaping of it, yeah, the expression of it, without feeling trapped by it, yeah. So if you identify with awareness, you will never be trapped by the form that you're in. If you're looking at the river as just water, then it's not bound by the rules of riverness, yeah? These are your limits. This is what a river does. That's what a river does. Blah, 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 blah. It's water still. Yeah? Okay. Now, when you forget and think that, in the case of rivers, yeah, the riverbanks are all that exists, yeah, then the banks will look like prison instead of a playground. So the people that think that Earth is a prison, oh my God, what are we going to do? We need to get out of here. Oh my God, we need to get out of the matrix. Blah, blah, blah. Those people are trapped in their form, yeah? They have forgotten that they are awareness. They think that they are the form that awareness is expressing through. So therefore they are bound by those rules of the Demiurge, yeah, which is the very intelligence that basically brought the scalar down to vector, yeah, brought formlessness into form, yeah, that intelligence. Okay, now if you think about it this way, yeah, the Demiurge, yeah, is the ordering intelligence, like I said, yeah, it's the thing that lets water find its level, yeah, shaping a coherent scene, yeah. So the laws of physics, time, cause and effect, and all the rest of it, yeah, is basically what the Demiurge brings into fruition. Yeah, it's an aspect of awareness itself. We'll get there, but that's what the Demiurge is. Yeah, it's the thing that allows. It's almost like from a projector standpoint. It's the screen that allows you to project onto the screen. But then humans being humans forget that they're being the experience is being projected on the screen, and they identify with the screen, and they get lost. They get locked into the screen. Then they want to break out of the screen, forgetting that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the Demiurge itself is not a separate being. Yeah. Pushing the water around, yeah, pushing humans around, yeah, or expressions of consciousness around. It's the built-in tendency of awareness to settle into patterns that can be perceived by awareness itself. Let me say that one more time. The Demiurge is the built-in tendency of awareness or consciousness or God to settle into patterns that can be perceived by God itself. Because remember, God is formless, boundaryless, limitless, blah, 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 yeah, pure energy. Now, once this built-in tendency allows for settling, yeah, into a form, just like water filling a container until it evens out, is what gives us a world that appears stable enough to live in and play in, yeah. So that intelligence is required for us to actually be here. Without that intelligence, if I actually touch this table, my hand would have gone through this table straight away. In fact, there would be no me to even touch the table. There would be no table to even perceive. Do you follow? This is a heavy one, so please just try and bear with, yeah? So when you identify only with the shapes, yeah, that the water takes, yeah, the lake, the form, the waves, the ripples, the banks, you know, whatever it is, the ordering can feel like a cage, yeah. But when you rest as the water itself, you see that the intelligence is simply awareness expressing its own natural balance. Do you understand? So the Demiurge itself is part of awareness itself that allows awareness to be able to fragment itself, quantify itself, place itself into different patterns and different forms so it can experience itself. Without I'm just using this word very loosely, but I prefer the intelligence, yeah, of it. Yeah, because when you look at Mercury, yeah, and Mercury flows, Mercury behaves like it's got an intelligence. It's a metal, but it flows. Yeah, it does something that it's mind blowing. Yeah, when water seeks its level, its intelligence is mind blowing. Yeah, that's almost like awareness in real life for you to see. That directionality, yeah. Oh, what am I going to be this time? Yeah. So it's the thing. It's that intelligence within our own selves that allows for that to happen. So it's not like some bad guy. It's not the father of Yahweh or the son of Yahweh or whatever. That's all stupid 3D earth-based stupid stuff. Okay. So think of the Demiurge as the ordering principle, yeah. The built-in intelligence that gives the flow of awareness a course or a directionality or a form of being, yeah, and lets the world appear. It creates the microcosm. It's what creates the bubble. It's the thing that actually allows for awareness to tear itself from its own formless nature and experience itself within itself as a separate thing. Let me say that one more time because this is super important. The Demiurge, yeah? Think of the Demiurge. When you think the Demiurge, forget the name. The supreme intelligence, yeah, is the ordering principle, yeah? It's the very thing. It's like the built-in intelligence of God itself. Supreme intelligence. That's why I call it supreme. It's like the intelligence within God itself that gives the flow of awareness, the formless nature of awareness, a vector. It gives the formless blob of water, yeah, a pattern, a directionality, a flow, yeah, and lets a microcosm appear around the form or pattern that it's created so it can experience itself within itself. Do you understand? Because ultimately, when we use the example I use with the water, when water is a rapid river, yeah, crashing on rocks and stuff like that, that's a totally different experience to the ocean, yeah. When it's a lake, it's a totally different experience to the ocean. When it's a pond, when it's a tributary, when it's an underground river, when it's a snowflake, it's a different experience. When it's rain, when it's an iceberg, when it's a ice shelf, when it's a spring, a thermal spring, when it's whatever. Each of those expressions of that very same one thing have a world around them because it's so unique from the other expressions that it can experience itself within that space as something else, even though it's one thing. Yeah? So just like how like riverbanks and the riverbed and, you know, it creates the thing, you know, that's the Demiurge, if you like, yeah? It's what allows it to flow that way and create a riverbank and a riverbed and, you know, space, time, physical laws, all the rest of it. Then the currents and the eddies and the other stuff, that's like your habits, the culture, the individual egos, yeah? And the sediment and the stones and stuff like that, those are the events and the personal histories of that one thing when it took form. Yeah. So the demiurge is it's not a separate being, but a structure and tendency. I'm trying to find the words, but it's very hard to articulate. Like when water's seeking its level, could you not just see that it's magical? It's almost like, how does this thing that has no kind of brain, no physical attributes that we can attribute to intelligence or reasoning, but this thing knows the path of least resistance without anybody telling it. It knows its level without anybody telling it. Yeah, it can choose to flow or to sit or to what, it's up to it. But yet this thing there's nothing to it. It's literally water, bro. Do you see? That is that kind of like structure and tendency of that thing, i.e. water or awareness, is what the demiurge is. Yeah. So when you identify only, like I said, when you identify only with the shapes the water takes, then the form that you're in will feel like a prison. But when you rest as the water itself, you will see the shaping as awareness naturally finding its own balance. This is a fact. Yeah. Now let me use a human example. So to drive this point, yeah, let's bring it home. Now, using the river image for humanity as a whole, yeah, or let's use water as that blob of water, that formless blob of water as humanity as a whole, yeah, as humanity as a whole. Now, humanity in this context, what I mean by that is, all living minds, cultures, and experiences are the single flow of awareness. That single blob, yeah? It's all human experience in that one thing. Okay, cool. Now, the demiurge, yeah, is the shaping force, yeah? The structure and principle, yeah? The supreme intelligence that chooses which way to go, how to cut itself from itself so it can become a separate thing, so it can experience itself within itself, yeah? Now, everything that gives that vast human current a definite course is what the demiurge is, yeah? So physical law and biology, yeah? If you think about it, physics, you know, genetics, the limits of the human body, yeah? See that push-pull? Because in that push-pull, when I say physical law and biology, yeah? Look across let's go back to the blob of humanity. We all have different heights. There are some mega tall people. There's really, really short people. Yeah. See that range right there? The thing that pushes and pulls and adjusts the settings is the demiurge. Yeah. Length of arms, all the physical features. Yeah. The push pull. Like, okay, we'll make that small. We'll make that big. We'll make that. That is the intelligence is choosing how to express itself. Yeah. So from human, if you look at human physics and biology, we are vastly different, yeah, but we are still that one blob. Okay, now, so if you think about it, your genetics, yeah, your settings, yeah, and the limits of your body and the definition or the structure of your body, this decision is made by that intelligence within the structure and principle that you want to call that people call the demiurge, yeah? Now, the next layer down is, let's look at culture and language, yeah? So that would be like the shared kind of banks, yeah, if you like, or the shared kind of expressions, because a river, you know, will have estuaries. So some rivers will flow into lakes, it will flow into the ocean, some will connect to this and that and this and this. That's the shared banks, the shared connections, yeah, that lets individuals communicate and build societies, just like water does, yeah. Water can build a whole delta, different rivers come together, yeah. It's the same thing, the same order and principle, but it's still the same blob of water, the same blob of humanity, yeah. Now, then we have institutions, we have economies, yeah. These things, the things that direct how the energy, that blob, that formless thing flows and how resources move from A to B, yeah. And then you have collective habits and myths and all the rest of it, yeah. These are like the deep grooves that have like been cut by, you know, history, if you like, that keep the flow recognizable, yeah, because the river, the more water flows this particular direction, that's what makes that river more, it makes it deeper, makes it, yeah, more prominent, yeah. Okay, now think of archons and agents, yeah, the archons or the agents of the Demiurge, yeah. These are like the local currents, yeah, the whirlpools, the eddies, the waves, yeah. These are the things, like, if you want to use a human example, these are like your governments, the media, ideologies, yeah, influential personalities, egos, all the small scale structures that keep the river organized as a river. The things that keep the river a river are those things. The things that keep a lake are those things. The thing that keeps rain, the thing that keeps the ocean. These are your currents, yeah, your archons, if you like. Now, none of these forces are outside humanity. They arise within the same awareness that flows through every person. Yeah. So when we identify, like I said, with the riverbanks, the laws, the politics, the roles, we will feel trapped because that's not who you actually are. What is the river minus the water? What is the ocean minus water? What is rain minus water? What is the snowflake minus water? Who are you minus awareness? Who are you minus awareness, bro? Yeah? This is the key point. When you remember that you are the water itself, you can see those banks and those structures, those expressions, all those things as temporary forms that make the human world playable. The Demiurge is like the operating system of the video game that allows us to be able to come into this world to play it. Yeah? Now, I know logically, the next step will be, well, on a micro level, what are our personal archons then? Yeah? I'm going to do a visual on this as well. And the Demiurge. Now, let's use the same water metaphor, but let's zoom all the way into one individual life, yeah? Now, what or who is your personal Demiurge? So your personal Demiurge is the organizing force that keeps your personal world coherent, your own riverbed or lakebed or ocean floor. That's your Demiurge, yeah? So your body and brain, yeah, is part of your quote-unquote Demiurge, because it's the built-in wiring of your nervous system, your temperament, your humors, yeah? We used to talk about this stuff, but we don't talk about it so much nowadays because they say it's a pseudoscience, but how? Anyway, whatever. But they'll rather say that children can make sex change. We live in a Mickey Mouse world, man. I swear to you, bro. Anyway, let's focus. So your built-in wiring of like your nervous system, your temperament, your humors, yeah, your reflexes, your instincts, your fight or flight responses, your basic drives, yeah, sex, hunger, how it expresses. Because when some people are hungry, they go off. Some people, when they're hungry, they're chill. Yeah, some people might panic, others might be chill. So you see all those little things that make you you and make him him and make her her and make me me. That's the Demiurge. Because once I remove consciousness, yeah, from that personality, think of the Demiurge as the mask, yeah? So my mask makes me a blah, blah, blah. Your mask makes you a blah, 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 blah. And your mask is made up of your body, brain, the wiring, the structure of the mask, and you know, the temperament of the character, the persona, all the rest of it, the fight and flight, blah, blah, blah. All those things that are the mask comes with, yeah, is your Demiurge. Because without awareness, what is the mask? It's nothing. Doesn't mean anything. Do you see? So it's the thing that allows, it cuts your shape out of the formlessness of awareness. It cuts your shape out of it so you can experience it. You can experience your own self within yourself as a separate thing, but you're not separate. Now, another aspect of your quote-unquote demiurge are your core personality patterns, yeah? So what are the stable things that keep you recognizable year on year? What are the what's your ocean floor? Yeah, give me a second, guys. 1 second. I need to turn on something. So yeah, like I was saying, what's your ocean bed? What's your riverbed? Yeah, of you-ness. You know, what is the nature of your lake floor, or your, or whatever? Yeah, what's the what is it? Yeah, what makes your riverbed different from my riverbed? Yeah, the things that keep you recognizable year on year. Do you see how we are actually referring to the mask itself, form itself? Okay. Now, the next part, the next aspect of your demiurge is your deep beliefs about reality itself, yeah? And what I mean by that is the assumptions you rarely question, yeah? You don't question, like, who you are, like, this is who I am. You don't question. There are certain things that you just don't question. You know that that's just you, right? Or this is how the world works, or whatever it is. That's also another aspect of the demiurge, the vector to the scalar, the thing that's making you separate from that blob of humanity. Yeah? They aren't outside entities, bro. They are the structuring tendencies that let an individual take a definite shape within the formless, so it can experience itself separate from the formless and experience form even though it is formless. Now, your archons, yeah, if you like, your archons, yeah, they are the, if you like I said, the local kind of currents, yeah, the local waves, the local eddies, or the, you know, currents, whatever it is that make you, yeah, the subroutines that enforce your personal order, yeah. 1 second, let me just read this. What did he say? Give me 1 second. Made away. People. One second. Okay, let me finish this. So I was reading something. So yeah, like I said, your archons are your local currents, yeah, your local whatever that enforce the personal you, yeah. So what makes you, or what makes you separate from me and her and him and whatever? What are those things? Yeah, your habits and compulsions. Yeah, your habits and compulsions. So automatic behaviors, both helpful and self-sabotaging, yeah? Some people are quick to anger, some people are manipulative, some people are this. But these are all personality traits, yeah? These are like the expressions of your river, yeah? How choppy your river is, how slow moving it is, how rapid it is, how rocky it is, how temperamental it is, how misleading your lake is. You know, it might seem like a still one, you step in a whoop, now you're drowned. You know, the things that make your lake. Once again, if I take away the water, where is the choppiness? Where is the violent, where are the violent waves? Where are the misleading pools of water and all the rest of it? Where are they? Do you see? That's what the Demiurge is, the intelligence itself. It's not a physical thing that lives anywhere. It's an aspect of the energy itself. Okay. The next thing, another thing about your archons, yeah? So these habits and compulsions, people call them demons. They'll call them demonic. They'll say it's this, it's all blah, 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 narcissistic, blah, 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 whatever, yeah? It's just how your energy is expressing. These are your archons. When you feed that, and this is what I've been talking about, when you feed your energy into your habits and compulsions, yeah, especially the self-sabotaging ones, you are pouring your energy into form, yeah? You're putting your energy into the mask, into the physical world. You're pouring your energy onto the screen. You're believing you're the mask, yeah? You're not the thing behind it. You will destroy yourself. You destroy your experience, yeah? The next thing, the next set of archons, if you like, these are your emotional hooks, yeah? The things that trigger you, your approval seeking tendencies, your resentments, yeah? Your beefs and all the rest of it, yeah? These hooks are your archons. These are the things that make your river. These are the personality traits of your river or your lake, yeah? How, like I said, how choppy it is, how misleading, how this, or the things that make, you know, whatever, like, you know, some rivers, you know, maybe you go and swim in it, it will fucking drown you, yeah? It's just not, it's not forgiving. Some rivers are not forgiving, some lakes are not forgiving. These are facts, bro. These are facts. These are facts. Yeah? Okay. And another thing is your conditioned thought loops, yeah? So these are like your internal voices from your memory, your previous programming, family, your culture, past experiences that keep certain stories running, yeah? That's also another personal archon, because that also informs how you express going forward. True or false? True or false? You know? So these things, like, these are the aspects of the intelligence that patrol, yeah, your riverbank or your ocean floor or your lake floor or lake bed, whatever it is, keeping your usual sense of self intact, yeah? There is, so it's like the form, yeah? Making sure it's the things that keep your energy. So think of it this way. Think of it this way. A really good analogy, actually. So you are water, yeah? The Demiurge is different containers, yeah, that water can go in. And the Demiurge and its archons patrol the edges of the container to make sure that you're not breaking out of it. You're not doing what you're not supposed to do, yeah? Keeps you in that shape. But it's not law, it's not God. It's just an aspect of your own self, which allows you to be able to separate yourself from formlessness. But the point is, once you recognize that you're simply water, the Demiurge or your personal Demiurge and your archons don't really affect you, because you actually understand the bigger play. Yeah? So why does this matter? Because, like I said, when you forget you are the water, these patterns feel like an outside authority controlling you, yeah? It's true. Some people are like slaves to their habits and compulsions. They can't resist, yeah? Some people are slaves to their emotional hooks, their thought loops. It's a fact. Some people are slaves to their beliefs about reality. Some people are slaves to their own personality patterns, bro. I'm a this, so I've got to do this, you know? I'm a gangster, I've got to do it. I'm a roadman, I'm a this, whatever, yeah? It's true. But you're none of those things, bro. You know, when you remember you're the awareness flowing through the body or form, the same patterns can be watched, understood, and even reshaped or released. Do you understand? So at the micro level, the demiurge is simply the structuring of your own body and mind, and the archons are the habits and inner voices that keep the structure in place. Yeah? So like I said, just to recap, the scalar, pure potential, the raw formless energy of awareness. The vector is directed potential, yeah? When energy is given a particular direction so that something specific can be experienced, right? But that energy given particular direction, nothing gives it to the energy. The energy itself has it, is built in. This is the demiurge. And then its sort of like secondary aspect is your archons. That's the thing that allows the scalar to break down into vectors, yeah? So the demiurge isn't some being that's separate from you. It's the order and intelligence inside awareness, bro. The built-in capacity that gives the scalar a vector. Yeah? The built-in capacity that will take the formless and turn into a lake or a river or a pond or the ocean or a snowflake or whatever. Now that you're a lake, yeah? How many different types of lakes are there? There are small ones, there are big ones, there are fucking deep ones, there are shallow ones, there are this. Yeah? Those are your archons. You understand? On a micro level, if you like. You know. And that's exactly what allows the open potential, yeah, the limitless potential of consciousness to crystallize as your particular life. You know? This body, this character, this stream of perceptions and awareness, bro. You can believe that you're the body all you want. Nobody cares at this point. And you can believe the stories. Nobody cares. You can believe you're a river. But like I said, you can never answer the question. What is the river without water, bro? Once I take the water out, what is the river? What is it? You can't show me. You can't tell me. You can't show me nothing. Yeah? So think of it this way. If you haven't taken anything at all, the demiurge and your archons, quote unquote, is the intelligence that makes you you. Yeah? The principle that turns limitless potential into an experienceable world. Yeah? It's the same function. You know, it's the same function. Yeah? That the ancient kind of like text identified as a demiurge. It's true. So it's not something outside of you. It's the self-structuring aspect of consciousness itself. You know, it's like this quiet, internal vectoring force. Actually, that's really good. A vectoring force that lets the infinite appear as a particular me, so that experience can happen in the first place. Yeah? Because if water didn't have that intelligence, then water wouldn't flow. So then you put water down and water will still remain formless. You put in a container and it will be a blob. You put on the table, it will be a blob. Put it on the ground, blob. You stick it in the sky, you drop it, it will just be one big blob. It will just fall down. You put the ocean, will be a blob, nothing. It will just be the same formless nothing. So the demiurge, that internal energy is what allows expression, experience to... I thought of a way to word it this morning. It was like, think of it as the supreme intelligence that allows for infinite potential to experience itself within itself as an experience. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, this is not the best. It's not my best one, but whatever. Infinite potential. Infinite potential. Let's use humanity as a representative, or water as a representative of infinite potential. This is just a blob of potential. Within this is all human possibility. Yeah, everything human is here. This is the scalar level. Yeah, this is the scalar level of water. Every possible thing water can be is here. Everything. Yeah, there can't be anything that water can be that's outside of here. There's nothing that can be human that's outside of this thing. Now, the demiurge is the internal built-in intelligence that allows this thing to be able to become different people. Yeah? Different people from biology to nervous systems to brain capacity to physical attributes, so on and so forth. Yeah, the same way the demiurge is the thing that allows this water to become a river, the ocean, a lake or a pond, snow, rain, so on and so forth. Yeah, ultimately it's still water. Yeah, ultimately all these people, are humans. Yeah. Now this is the first level. The secondary level is now you have a person, and this is, you know, the person's internal kind of habits, compulsions, fight or flight responses, temperament, blah, 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 blah. But this person could be a twin and it could be totally different. Yeah. So it's the secondary aspect, the currents within that being that make him separate from even his twin. Yeah. Now it's the same. There are violent rivers. There are slow moving rivers. There are rivers that become waterfalls, rivers that actually go and become tributaries to others, rivers that end in lakes or go to the ocean, so on and so forth. There are different types of oceans. Yeah. Cold, warm, fucking cold, whatever. Yeah. Icy. Same principle. Different types of lake. Different. Every snowflake is different forever. Did you get that? Okay. Same applies to rain. So the thing that makes these rivers express themselves how they are, yeah, is what you want to call, at the local level, your archons. Yeah. This is also internal, your habits, compulsions, so on and so forth. The ancients didn't have a way to articulate it, but these are facts. So yeah, I keep telling you, there's nothing outside of you as awareness, but you can believe what you want.